PR Connections Radio presents. This episode of Thinking into Results is brought to you by Classy Communications PR and Advertising. Classy Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and nonprofit organizations. They can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit classycommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
I guess you can be very successful without one, and probably some people do. But I would not have accomplished anywhere near what I have accomplished without a mentor. I have had a number of mentors, and my whole life has changed dramatically. I went from going nowhere to having a business that operates all over the world. If you want to win in a big way, you want to get a mentor. It's almost like getting a direct pipeline from their mind to your mind, where you're gaining all their wisdom, all their experience, and all the studying that they've done over a number of years. And like that, you get it all in a short period of time. Are mentors important? Well, I'm going to tell you, mentors literally changed the course of my life. Let's take a look at what thinking into results is and what it could do for you, how it came about. You see, my life had changed dramatically. I went from earning nothing to earning over $1 million a year. And I was sitting one day and I was thinking, how did all this happen? Do you know, I was reading Think and Grow Rich. I was studying Earl Nightingale's material. But a lot of people have read those books and studied Earl's material. And they weren't accomplishing what I was accomplishing. So I had to ask myself, what am I doing so different? You see, I had been raised to believe if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. I was earning over $1 million a year, and I didn't think I was that bright. I was also raised to believe if you don't go to school, you can't win. Well, I hadn't gone to school. I went to high school for about 2 months. I didn't have a good job. I owned the entire company. If you want to be happy, healthy, and prosperous, it's all here. Thinking into results is going to show you how to get it. If what I've said really triggered something in your mind and you're thinking maybe, contact the certified PGI consultant. Hit the button, leave the information. Do yourself a favor. Sit down and talk to them about what this program can do for you. This very well could be the decision that will change the rest of your life.
Welcome to Thinking in Results, where we show you how to accomplish your goals. I'm Sid Maestri. I'm a certified consultant with Thinking in Results. And my partner, co-host is John Gage. He's a voice-trained actor and longtime student of Thinking in Results. And we've got a very exciting show today. We're going to be talking about the foundation, the keystone of this philosophy, and that is our self-talk. Talk about your self-talk, talk yourself into success. So with that, John Gage, share us your thoughts.
Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for sharing your time with us today. We really appreciate it. Today's podcast, as Sid was saying, is self-talk. You auto-suggest your way to success. How do you do that? Well, let's start with how we as a society work on a regular basis. We self-talk and auto-suggest ourselves all the time. We're constantly convincing our subconscious of what our reality is based on our experiences. So if you have, because your experiences are going to be different than mine, just like mine and Sid's are different. There are a few, once you start, having associations with other people, you do have a few experiences that are the same, but you still perceive them differently. So Sid's truth is going to be different than my truth, and our truth is going to be different than your truth. Your truth is going to be going to be based on your experiences and what your beliefs are. Um, and there really is no limitation to that. What I mean by that is we as a society limitate our own minds. Would you agree with that, Sid? That we do limitate our own minds? Or
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
and the facts are there's no limit to that. And that would be another thing you would agree with, or am I incorrect in assessing it that way?
No, as you were talking and you're talking about reality,
Mhm.
everything that we believe, we call it your truth, but everything we believe is the truth for us. And it's our reflection of how we see the world. And there's a
That
lot
is
of stuff in our beliefs. We can't really back them up, but we have them. And what we're going to talk about today is how do you change your beliefs? Identifying what happens with the positive versus the negative and the vibration, which John will share that with you.
Yes, I will actually. Well, and mentioning vibration, and this may be something that some people may not agree with. They may not understand it yet. Maybe they're not open to it. But it really doesn't take any more energy to accept poverty and misery than it does to expect riches and a happy life. It really doesn't. It takes the same amount of energy from you to accomplish either or. You can either accept what's happening to you and allow those negative thoughts to become your auto suggestion, your self talk. Oh, I can't believe I woke up, I stubbed my toe, and I went in to brush my teeth and ended up brushing my nose hairs with my toothbrush instead, and progressively it gets worse all day long. I was walking down the street and my foot got stuck on some gum and my shoe came off, and it's because I know it's I'm making a little bit of fun of it, but it really is. And I know everybody's had those days. I know you've had those days, Sid. We've talked about it. I guarantee I've had those days, and I'm sure you folks out there have had those days because you can't help it. And it seems like when something bad happens, and you keep going, man, I'm having such a bad day. What you're doing is telling your subconscious that this is the reality of it. And what I like to do go ahead, Sid. You have something? You have an input? Go ahead.
Well, I have the real life things that were happening and being able to, what's the right word? Keep it neutral. This just happened the past week or so. I don't have a real ID card. I kept putting it off and putting it off.
So you're not a real person? Oh my goodness.
2 or 3 weeks ago, I heard that the cutoff date was May 5th. After that, you better have the real ID. I've already booked a flight on May 12th to go to San Jose to celebrate a grandson's graduation from college.
June 12th, so you better get that ID soon, son.
So this is what happened. So I look online to see what I needed, and I heard that on Wednesday they were taking this is Las Vegas DMV, that they were taking walk-ins. So I get there early at 6, and by 8 o'clock they're going to open. They tell us, "Oh, no walk-ins today." And I heard that another one was. So that's about 20 miles away. So I drive over there, spend another couple hours, and I didn't have my birth certificate. I didn't have a certified. I had a copy. So I go home. I find one. Go back yesterday. I had one from 1989. It was
Oh,
kind of
wow.
back in my file. I found this.
Okay.
Great. So I go yesterday to the second place is on Decatur. Get in line, and by the time I get up to the window, to send you to someone who's going to help you, they said, well, you need a bank statement that's within the last 50 days. Well, I had a bank statement. Well, I pulled it out. It was from November 2024.
That's a little further than 50 days. Yes.
So that's 3 trips, usually 1 to 2 hours or more. So now I get home, and I threw all the ones that came in this year away, and then it dawned on me, wait, I can go online and I can print it. So now I printed it. Now I'm ready to go back to get it done tomorrow. No, I forgot to mention, yesterday they told me we only do this between 3 and 4. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 3 to 4, 2 hours in the week. Well, I'm going to be there at 2:00.
Right.
And,
But that's a good example of things, the negative just piling up.
but John, but I'm not upset
No.
because I had Plan B.
Mhm.
Plan B is if I don't get it, can't use that May 12th flight. I can just move it to 4th of July, and I can go visit family on 4th of July.
There you go.
So that's my fallback.
But see that now, I like that you said that. You know why? Because even though that negative happened, you found a positive in it. Because you've trained your subconscious to do what?
Look for Plan B.
To always understand that bad things happen, and there's always going to be some sort of positive out of the negative. We may not see it, and I know you weren't here last week, but I know you listened to the story I told.
Yes.
That was a lot of negative, and that was. But you know what? I knew there was positive in it, and I chose to make my life positive. It really didn't take any more effort than allowing everything else around me that's negative to affect my life. I know we both experienced it, and negative, and I want to clarify for everybody out there that even though you're trying to be positive about everything, negative will still happen. And you, even though that negative happens, like you get up and stub your toe, instead of going, oh, I stubbed my toe, what a lousy day, you go, oh, I stubbed my toe, that's okay, it'll get better. There, the pain's going away, okay, great. My day's fantastic, and move forward. Because what you're doing is you're telling your subconscious mind, I'm not searching for negative. Because we talked a couple weeks ago, remember, so we talked about how criminals, when they first start doing criminal activity, they're really it's kind of an abhorrent behavior to them, or they're turned off by it for layman's terms, and they gradually, the more they do it, the more they come to accept it, the more they realize that this is the life, this is their truth, as we talked about earlier. And all those little life experiences and all of those little things we say to ourselves every day is self-talk. I do it, you do it, and you do it. Would you agree with that, Sid? Would you agree with that assessment of how self-talk works in the real world in general?
Yes. I'm going to go when you're talking about changing your perception. I use the, let's say, the storyline that you're taking on the task is something you're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if all goes well, you're happy. I like to say that's a foundation to go further in that direction. But the good part is when it didn't turn out the way you wanted, there's always something good in it. It gives you a chance to take another look, another perspective, try another way.
Yeah.
And they use the expression of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And that's at the heart of the thinking and results program, is to change your thinking and to recognize the opportunity of thoughts that aren't the things that aren't working. I use the thing that my personal, the key thing that stops me is I got something I'm going to do, and the little voice in my head says, I don't feel like it. And I have to steel myself to go do something that's on my calendar or my to-do list that day, and I just don't feel like it. Well, suck it up and go out and do it. But it's consciously aware that that's something that shows up in my mind. I could say a couple of times a day. Going to the gym, I've been erratic, but the last 3 days I've worked out. Why? Because I wrote it down on my to-do list. I got my little card, what I'm doing today, and gym is written there, and I've written the time, 6:00. I'm going to go there and do my thing.
So what you're saying is you chose to change your behavior.
Yes.
And decided to bring something better into your life, which is what it really is, what this whole thing is about. Even if you're having a good life and you're happy, there's always room for improvement. And I know the title is self-talk. People may not necessarily understand how that works. And to change how you think, you have to intentionally, especially if you're wanting to accomplish something and you're wanting to accomplish something specific, you have to talk to yourself and you have to show your subconscious this is really what you want, because your subconscious only understands, we talked about perception. Your subconscious perceives the reality that you're emotionally attached to. Correct?
Oh, yes.
So if you're emotionally attached to something, whether that emotion is a good emotion, happiness, love, or fear of something that you perceive may or may not happen, those are strong emotions that are attached to your subconscious, and your subconscious is comfortable in whatever that emotion is. And how do we change that? Well, you always said it to begin with, Sid. What's the first step in changing that?
Well, the first step, well, maybe it's twofold. There's something you want that you've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
And your subconscious, what we call the paradigm, paradigm being a collection of your thoughts and actions, your habitual habits, is to identify what's holding you back. Which brings me to the thought of polarity. The world has polarity on everything. We like to say it's good and bad, black and white, up and down, inside, outside. So that goes back to when I was saying you've got something that you want to do that's a positive thing, and it doesn't work out. Then what's the opposite? The thing that didn't work out, take another look at it, because there's always some good in it, which you mentioned also. But what people can do and what we want to teach you is to identify the polar opposite of something that's not working and write an affirmation. And we do all our affirmations following, I am so happy and grateful now that.
And
And whatever,
go ahead.
and we're doing that with emotion. We're putting it in the present tense like it already happened. I'm so happy and grateful now that I go to the gym every day. Well, I'm not used to that every day, but if that's what I wanted to do, I write out that statement and record it. I like the first time I like to write it out 100 times. I'm so happy and grateful now that I love going to the gym. Write it out 100 times, record it. Now I can listen to it. And at the heart of making changes, thinking the results, repetition is the key to determine what you want to be thinking. What are the positive thoughts? What are the positive goals? Using the affirmations and through repetition, you're able to change your behavior and your thinking. It sounds simple. This isn't necessarily easy. It takes commitment, takes a decision, and follow through. And I like to say having an accountability partner.
That's where we come in. That's kind of what our service is we become your accountability partner. We help you stay true to what your vision is and what your dreams are. Auto-suggestion or self-talk kind of is also based on your capacity to concentrate on what you want. I mean, if it's something that you really don't want, you're not necessarily going to be able to concentrate on it. Now, like Sid said, the first step we take is writing it down. This is an affirmation that I have that's in my desk right here in front of me. And it's written down. It's nice and clear. You can read it nice and clearly. And when we're trying to change who we are or something about our habits that we want to change, because the whole idea of a human being is to improve yourself so that everybody else around you has improvement. In other words, they're better off for just listening to this podcast, or maybe you just said a kind word to them and nobody said a kind word to them in many years, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, there are kind people out there. It's a lot of little things that we do, but once in a while you have some big things that you wish to accomplish, and the first thing you have to do is write them down and then read them out loud. That's what self-talk is. Like Sid said, we add, I'm so happy. But if you don't add emotion to that, it is irrelevant. I can sit here and read my goals all day long. And if I'm not being emotional or adding some sort of emotion into it, my subconscious is going to go, yeah, right, no. You're not serious about it, because the emotion, because we're attached to these things on my shelf behind me. I'm actually attached to several of those items in there on an emotional level, like several of the books back here from my high school years. And yes, people, they are the original books from my high school years. And they've been there. And in my life for a very long time, I have an emotional attachment to them. They're very important to me because they bring back memories of a time I felt was very important in my life. So, like this affirmation, if I was to just read it and go, I am so happy and thankful I weigh 275, have a 40-inch waist, 72-inch chest, 10% body fat, that's not going to do anything. Although, if you notice, it's very specific.
John,
about that too.
I have a.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to, before we close today, the expression to emotionalize your goal, your affirmations, is to speak them. I like to say in front of a mirror, but to speak them with passion and unbridled enthusiasm.
Right. I was getting ready to demonstrate that. And I actually do it because my mirror is in the same room that I sleep in, well, it's in the bathroom. And if I say this to myself, I'm going to wake up my beautiful wife. I'm not willing to do that. But I come into here and I have Zoom. I know it's silly, but I have Zoom and I pull Zoom up. So it's literally looking in a mirror and I read it. And I read it like, and this is how I read it. It's like, I am so happy and thankful. I weigh 275. Finally have a 40-inch waist, 72-inch chest, 10% body fat. I haven't had that since high school. And this is how I read it to myself. I walk a mile per day. Awesome. Do a full body workout 3 days per week. I eat all healthy foods, keeping my mind, and I point at myself and body in a peak healthy performance and healthy position. And actually, I read that out of sequence, but that's okay.
Can you see that?
What's that?
Do you see that in your mind's eye?
Absolutely. Every time I read it, I see that because when I read this, I'm envisioning how I look. You know, because I went through it. If you guys listen to the previous show, you'll understand why this is very important to me. Because I was told, just briefly, I was told I'd be on 9 liters of oxygen for the rest of my life and never walk properly again. I still struggle with walking. As you can tell, I don't have any oxygen. So before I end, Sid, did you have anything you wanted to add? We're getting close to the end, and I'll go ahead and end it here soon. But is there anything you wanted to add to that real quick before I close out?
I was thinking, that's the thought. We cannot achieve past what we can see. We have to be able to see ourselves.
You are right, sir. You are 100% on point.
That it's like earning money. If you want to earn more than you've been earning, you've got to be able to see it. You have to be able to see it's happening, and you have to.
By the way, I have the money going right here.
And be able to see how your life is going to be.
Right.
Just getting money is one thing, but what are you going to do with it? And I know we're towards the end here, but real quick, like I remember at church a few years back, and they were at the annual meeting going over the budget and everything. And then the minister, as she was sitting down, had a throwaway line, "I wish I had $1 million." And I'm an usher at the back of the church, and she says that, and I instantly, my question came to mind, well, what are you going to do with it? You have to know what you're going to do with it, not just getting some money, but have a picture of how it's going to change your life.
Absolutely.
I'm going to throw the close out to you, John.
All righty. Well, thank you, Sid. And Sid, thank you for your thoughts. It's really, I really love sharing this with everybody. It's such a blessing to have everybody watch this. And I do want to thank you for sharing your time, because I know it's important. My time is important too. Sharing your time with Sid and I. And if you wish to learn more about what we're talking about here, please feel free to contact us. It's a brand new website at sj-mentoring.com. Again, that's sj-mentoring.com. There's a little section in there for contact. You can fill out, send it to us. Sid or I will get back to you. Please do that. And we're happy to help you. Don't please reach out for help if you're needing somebody to talk to. We're here. And like, share, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm, helps us get out so that we can, get to more people. It's nice. Be sure to join us next week when we discuss specialization, becoming the experts. That's our step 4 in our 13-part series, 13 Steps to Success. S&J Mentoring, we show you how to accomplish your dreams. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, John, and farewell. See you guys next Wednesday, 1:00 Pacific Standard Time. And we're going to help you get organized and become the expert.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.